Hi, I'm Daphne from Daps Makeup, and I'm here to do part 2 of Chanel holiday videos. So if you haven't already watched part 1, after this one is done, head over there. In part 1, I had did a review on the quad. So in part 1, I reviewed the eyeshadow quad Nuit Estrelle. I also reviewed the purple mascara, the purple nail polish, and the purple lipstick. And I even went over my in-store experience and reviewed the items that I did not purchase. Now I went over the majority of the holiday release items except for the 9-pan palettes. I did give you a sneak peek of those palettes, but I left this review to go over the 9-pan palette because when I first went in store they didn't have it available, and then the following week they did. So yes, I got one of them. By now you should know which one I got based on the title, Instagram post, and even from my first video I already gave you a sneak peek. In terms of the 9-pan, Chanel, generally speaking, doesn't do anything really special for limited, in terms of like casing and packaging, but they did a little something. So it comes in this box, and then you open it up, and then the case is in here. So it's still the same black case, the CCs. It's in white, there's no gold. Sometimes they like to do gold. There is a protective cover, but yes, this is the one I got, the new Singular. Yeah, to be honest, I was even surprised I got this one. If you're surprised, well, so was I. I was actually thinking I was going to get the other two. So let me like I said, I went in store, I swatched them all. So let me tell you about the in-store experience. I'll show you swatches of all 3 palettes. And then I'll let you know why I chose this palette. And it's actually not because I don't like the other 2. I actually think all 3 palettes are beautiful. I don't think there is a wrong choice. I'll explain my personal reason, but it was something personal to my collection and but actually like all 3. So I'll just tell you that off the bat. So when I went in store, I was going in there like 90% sure that I was going to pick Space Traveler. I was 10% sure that I was going to do Daring Muse. I wasn't even like, the new Singular actually wasn't even on my radar. It was like a 1% chance. Like I was not even like thinking about it. I really was like all enamored by this, the 2 shimmer heavy palette, and that's what I was going for. So I wanted to go in there, swatch, and make a final decision between those 2. And I was like, yeah, I'll also swatch the new Singular, but not thinking I was actually going to go pick it. So what happened? Okay, like I said, I actually like all 3. So this video is actually not to deter you from getting the other 2, but I'll explain my reasoning behind picking the one I picked. So first I swatched the Space Traveler. I swatched them, and I think the swatches are beautiful. From what I can tell, I haven't used them on my eyes, but what I can tell just from the swatches, they do seem good quality. So I actually really like it. And when I look at that palette, that's like so me. Like that's why I thought for sure that's what I was gonna pick. Those are my type of color story, and it was really beautiful. And the thing about it is, when I look at that palette, I think of Pat McGrath. Like I think of all about like Pat McGrath motherships and holiday palettes, and that was a thing because as someone who I pretty much own the majority of Pat McGrath palettes. Like I really do. Like my Pat McGrath collection is huge. Like I'm really big into Chanel now, but prior to this I was all Pat McGrath. So as I'm looking at the swatches, which I love all of them, I'm like, if I really look into my collection, I feel like I have all these shades, to be honest. And even as I'm looking at Daring Muse, I'm looking at these shades, which are beautiful, but once again, I feel like I have them. If not from Pat McGrath, I also own a lot of indie brands as well. I went through a period, I was really big into indie shadows and shimmers. So when I think about it, I'm like, ooh, I feel like I have this. So even though the Space Traveler was the one that, like, when I look at it, so my go-to color story, when I looked at Daring Muse, to be honest, when I look at that middle row, I think of Christmas. But once you block off the middle row and you look at the top and bottom rows, those are pretty like standard I don't want to say generic, but those are pretty standard like shimmer colors, and it's a very neutral palette actually. So it's really like a neutral palette with the pop of color being in the center, when I say Christmas colors. So when I look at these palettes, I think I could see myself making a beautiful holiday party look. But I was like, okay, do I really need these palettes for year-round given my collection? Because I already own a lot of Pat McGrath and indie brands. And also, to be honest, when we're talking specifically about this year, Pat McGrath just came out with the holiday palette, and Danessa Myricks just came out with the holiday palette, and they look really good. Like, I'm really considering getting one or both of these palettes. So when I thought about it as well, I was like, you know what? If I want a holiday shimmer palette, even though I do believe that the Chanel palettes are, they seem to be a nice quality and an upgrade from all our palettes that I have from Chanel in general. It's just like, if I need a shimmer holiday palette, I'm just thinking I'd rather get it from, honestly, Pat McGrath or Danessa Myricks. I feel like these palettes would be, do I want a Chanel version of Pat McGrath, or do I just want to get Pat McGrath? And I decided I just rather just get Pat McGrath. But the Singular palette, the new Singular palette, I ended up really going with this because, one, I swatched them, and actually I was like, you know what? This color story actually intrigues me. I thought to myself, this is a color story. I don't have too much of this in my collection. So this would be more unique to my collection. Now, I will say this does actually remind me of a fall quad from Chanel from last year, Divination, and I will do swatch comparisons at the end of the video. But nevertheless, just in general, I just feel like I have less of these kinds of tones from Chanel, and I actually was excited that it's a mainly matte palette. Chanel quads they mainly come out with Chanel quads, and they usually are mainly just satins and soft shimmers, and we don't tend to get a lot of like true mattes, and these are true mattes. We do have a couple of shimmers, but they are, majority are true mattes, and I was excited to get that from Chanel. And I wanted a challenge. I thought, like, you know what, I'd rather have a palette that challenged me to make some fun looks. And this also screams to me fall. I could see this being used for spring as well, but I could see that this screams fall to me, and it's fall. It's turtleneck season. This is a perfect time to do this palette. So that's why I chose the new Singular. Now, when I was in store, one other thing that I did take a look at is by that time they started getting some of the gift sets. So I also took a peek at those. I didn't get anything, at least not yet, but I did take some pictures and I can give you a sneak peek and some heads up of what to expect from the holiday gift sets. Right now, I don't believe that they are available on the website or at any department stores, but the boutiques are starting to get them. So they had a few, and I think as we get closer and closer to the holidays, more will be released, and they'll be eventually widely available in the department stores and their website, because they sell out fast. So let me give you a heads up of what to expect. All right, so the gift bags. So here's the thing. I have been buying these holiday gift sets for at least 3 years straight, maybe 4. I don't know. I can't even keep up anymore, but I buy them every year. And I will say this time I'm a little bit hesitant because I didn't buy it. The reason why is because, so this year the color story is navy blue. And 2 years ago they came out with a navy blue. So I already have one. I have this one. And so I was trying to think to myself, do I need another? I love these, but like I already have a navy blue. Do I need another navy blue? So I definitely wanted to see it in person and to see, is it different? I'm going to show you a picture of what it looks like. I held it in store, so here's a picture. What I will say, it's not the exact same. So they did make some differences. So what I would say is a couple things. Number one, if you look at mine, the gold, there's, it's like a kind of like a tweed-like fabric, and the gold really peeks through on this one, versus on the one that's for this year's, there is a little bit of gold, but it doesn't peek through as much. Like I feel like the gold really shines on this one, where the other one, it's truly more of a dark navy blue, which is little hints of gold. So they tone down on the gold. The other thing is material-wise, this, it's a nice material, but it's a more, I don't want to say firm or stiffer, but I'm going to show you, this was the bag from last year. I know it's a different color. I don't know if you can appreciate from this, but there's a fuzziness to this. And it meant this year's, I wouldn't necessarily say it's as fuzzy as this. Like this is really fuzzy, but it is closer to this material. And I don't know if the camera can kind of pick it up, but it's closer to this kind of material than this kind of, like this is almost more, I don't want to say like a denim, but like, you know, like, you know, but this has a much more softer feel to it. And so the new one has more of a feel like this. The color obviously is closer to this, but with less gold. It will say Beauté on it. They started doing that last year. So prior to this, they didn't put that on. So the whole reason they started doing that is what you can tell. I'm one of those people, yeah, that I turn I turn these into bags. First, you know, they used to have little tags on the end. They removed that. But then they saw that we started adding the D-rings ourselves. And so then they started adding the Beauté. So hopefully that will deter us, you know, that kind of thing. Totally up to you if you want to do that or not. But what I'll say is it's not the exact same color blue, and it's not the exact same fabric, but it's something to consider that we're back to navy blue again. So if you already have this one, it's worth it. The other reason why I'm hesitant is because I also bought the Dior one. Dior is coming for Chanel with this year's. I'll show you a picture, and I will have a dedicated Dior video, so I'll show you in person what it looks like. But the new one, totally different color story. It's gold and sparkly, but it also has a top handle. And so it's already like a bag already. You can add handles to that one, but it's even easier than the Chanel. So if you want it to be a bag, it's easier. So I did get the Dior, and so I'm not quite sure if I want the Chanel as well. But I might. You know, the big thing is what's inside these gift sets. So I'm gonna go over quickly what's supposed to be inside the gift sets. Now, I'm not gonna show any pictures because since it's not officially released, I don't want to show anything that I'm not supposed to release. You can go on the internet yourself, especially if you're on Instagram, find those pages that, you know, showcase, but I'm not going to show any pictures. What I will say is I'm going to be looking down at my phone. I'll try as much as possible to show you pictures of the items that I believe are going to be in the gift set. And what I say might be inaccurate because it hasn't been officially released, but this is what they're saying. It looks like there's going to be 9 of them. In store, I saw 3 of them. 3 out of 9, which was on the list. But they didn't have all 9. But let me let you know what's supposed to be in the 9. I'll give you names and prices, but you know, okay? What's new this year, very new this year, is that there's one that's going to have an eyeshadow palette, a quad. I'm skipping on this one, and I don't know if I'm going to have a picture of this. I should have done this because this was in store in the boutique. With this one, this eyeshadow quad, the tones of the shadows are really like beigey brown, taupey browns. I don't know, I just feel like on my skin tone, they would be really washed out colors on me. So I'm not really interested in the eyeshadow quad. It does comes with a Rouge Noir mascara, and I do like the mascara, but I'm not willing to pay the $126 for a quad that I'm not going to use. So that one is supposed to be coming out called Amplified Gaze. There's one called Eyes to Impress, that's $127, and this is something that I think they have done before. It comes with a priming mascara, the Rouge, the volumizing mascara, and it has a liner. I forget if it's a black or brown liner, but all things that, you know, are products that, you know, a lot of people would use and wouldn't be a waste. But for me, I'm just not interested in those items at this time. Next, they have the Gloss Up. It's the Gloss Trio. They have it every single year. Oh, I should have brought it out. I have the 3 glosses. I'll try to show pictures, but they do this every single year. If you don't have these glosses, then I say go for it because the glosses are great. It's at a decent price for this set. But if you already have the gloss, you know, after you buy one set, you don't need to buy one every single year. There's a set that's supposed to come out called the Lip Routine that has a lipstick. I'm just not sure if I want that lipstick. And then I think it's like maybe like, I don't know, I wouldn't say a lip balm, but maybe some type of lip treatment, moisturizer treatment or something like that. I don't know. That's kind of intriguing, but if since I don't want the red lipstick, that's a pass for me. There's another set that has a quint, one of those like La Beige quints, one of the mauve ones. I'll try to show a picture if I can. I don't know, that color story just doesn't speak to me. I do like the fact that they have, I think it is one of their moisturizers, which I do like. But then it also has, I think it was called the Water Fresh Blush. I actually have one of those. I'm not a crazy fan of that formula. I like the foundation version, but I don't like the blush version. So that's continuing with the skincare sets. There's one that has a moisturizer and a hand cream, I believe. It's called Le Lift Smooth Result, but this is one of their higher end skincare items. So the price is $268. So I'm sure it's lovely, but you know, that's a hefty price. So I'm gonna pass on that one. Another higher end skincare one is the #1 de Chanel Power Repair Set. That's gonna be $257. And this pairing also, like I said, I'm sure I've gotten samples of Chanel skincare and they feel lovely, they smell lovely, but just the prices are steep. Now, there's 2 left, and these are the 2 that if I'm gonna get one, it's gonna be one of these. So there is one with the skincare, the Hydra Beauty skincare line. I think it might be a foundation, not a foundation, a moisturizer and an eye cream. I do like this, and especially I have dry skin, so I love this product. And so it's gonna be $187, so that's a much more reasonable price. So I might go that way. Or the other one is called Covered in Essentials. They did have this one in store. It has a lip balm, a hand cream, and a nail polish in, I think it's called Ballerina. You know, those are great essentials that everybody can use. Like, there's no such thing as having too much hand cream or lip balm. The nail polish, obviously, is a universal kind of color. It's a very natural color. I'm just debating because when I do nails, I do like to have like color, and I don't know if I want that baby pink or not. So I'm still on the fence. And like I said, I already bought the Dior one, so we'll see. If I do ultimately get one, I will let you know. Regardless if I get one or not, I will let you know in the community post when it becomes available on their website or like department stores. When I send those posts, go quickly to buy them because they do sell out fast. So I'm just giving you a heads up. If you have a local boutique in your area, then you might want to contact them, especially they get them earlier. So just giving you a heads up. And one more thing too, the box that the kits come in, oh my God, I'll show you a picture, beautiful. I do like the design on the outside carton. They're using this for these makeup gift sets and also even for their fragrance gift set. So let me actually just show you one more thing that I saw in store. They're gonna have, like, they've had these like perfume travel cases before, and I love that these ones have the cute chain. It looks like, I don't know if you could see real close, but it looks like that same material that they're using, the navy blue for the pouch, that they have little mini pouches for the travel fragrances. I'm also tempted by that. So that one's really cute. So like I said, we'll see if I end up getting any gift sets. You know, I have time. I need some time to think on this. I've been buying a lot lately anyway, and I'll wait till the holidays. Like we barely just got into the fall Halloween season. It's hard for me to even think about Christmas at this point. Okay, we're done talking about gift sets. Let's talk about this palette. You can tell by my voice, I actually have been enjoying this palette. This might be scary. I know you look at this and you're like, what are these crazy colors? I've actually been enjoying this palette. I really have. I've done like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 looks at this point. If you've been following me on Instagram, Daps_Makeup, you've been seeing all my looks all week long. So you know the routine. I'm gonna quickly go over these looks. Just just so that you can see all the different ways you can use the palette. If I can remember what shades I use, I'll let you know. I do have a demo video. I know a lot of times my demo video is whatever look I have on now. Not the case this time. The demo video I have is actually the first look I did. It was actually a true first impressions video. Like now, like we're up to like what, my 5th look, but at that time it was my first time digging into the palette. So the first look that I'm going to show you, that's what you will see at the demo video after. But let me just quickly go through these looks and then you'll see the demo video. Don't worry, I got swatch comparisons. And I will tell you what I think about this palette. So like I said, for this first look, and I loved it. It was that was a good one to start off with. You know, I had to get right into the greens and purples. You will see a demo video of the application, but I'll already tell you. I first just went into this brown. This is just great to use just as a transition shade. It's close to my skin tone, but it's a more cooler tone than mine, so it is a beautiful color to use on my skin tone. Then I went in with the green, also in the transition. I think I did the green shimmer on the lid, purple on the outer V. In the inner corner, I used this shade. It looks white. Nope, it's pink. Look number 2. This was the day I was like, oh, I gotta run. I'm gonna do just a quick, simple look. I thought like I was gonna make like a no makeup look, and then I totally smoked up the look. It was so funny. So I first went with this shade in the transition. I used, I think, this pink on the lid. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I need some depth in the crease. I went into this black. This black is pigmented. So it ended up being more smoky than I originally planned, but I love it. I actually really do love the look. And then I think I went with this one in the inner corner. I used the orange in the transition, but then I couldn't shy away from the purples and greens. So I used this deep in my transition for some depth. On the lid, I think I actually used this light green on the lid. And then in the inner corner, I used the green shimmer. That was a lot of fun look. And by the way, in these last couple of looks, a lot of times I was using, besides a purple eyeliner, and it's usually Chanel, a purple eyeliner on the lower lid lash line. I was also using anthracite, that purple blue mascara from the part 1 video, the one that came with the quad this holiday season. It worked beautifully. So I think that color, I don't know, that blue purple mascara really goes well when you're incorporating this particular shade into your eye. I remember, I think I went into this with in the transition. I had the orange on the lid. Actually, I think I used the matte salmon in the inner corner. And then to provide some depth in the crease, I think I used the purple, but then I did sneak in a little bit of the black. So I used all that combination. Because I was using so much green and purple, I was like, let me do a soft look that does not incorporate any green and purple whatsoever. So for that look, in the transition, actually, I think I mixed the pink and the orange, and then I used actually the brown deep in my transition to provide depth rather than the black. So that way it didn't get too smoky too quick. And then I actually used the pink shimmer all over the lid of it in the inner corner, and then I sneaked the tiniest bit of black on the outer V, and I really didn't want the black to dominate this look. I really wanted it to be a really soft look, a soft pink look. So I wanted to show you that it doesn't have to be grungy green purple, that you actually can create a soft look with this palette. Lastly, let me just get a little closer to show you this look. Sorry, the light, I'm doing this later in the day than usual, so I do have the ring light on just because I'm losing some of the natural light, so hopefully you can appreciate this look. And I've had this on for several hours, so just so you know. But for this look, I really just wanted to emphasize the green. So for this one, I use the green. I used this green in the transition, this one on the lid, this green shimmer in the inner corner. I actually took the black and I did add that for some depth. So the only shimmers, only shadows I used were all green and black and nothing else. And this is the look that I created with that. Now, on a side note, I know this is all about Chanel, but just for the rest of my look, just giving you a heads up, I use a few new items. Normally I would do a whole separate video, my what's new video, and show you all the items, but I'm just going to show you them. I'm not going to demo them, but just wanted you to know on the lower lash line, that pop of green, the new YSL mascara. Now I do also have Victoria Beckham Sour Apple on the waterline, but then I have this mascara on the lower lash line. On my cheeks, a beautiful pink, the new YSL Magenta. Oh, so beautiful. Right now, it's only exclusively available at Macy's. I don't know when it's gonna be readily available elsewhere. And I'm giving you a sneak peek of my lips. It's Dior. Oh my God, this liquid lipstick. Acrobat. We will have a whole video dedicated to Dior. But now I'm gonna show you these eyeshadows in action, how I created the first look. Watch that video, and then we're gonna do some swatch comparisons, and I will give you my final thoughts on the formula. All right, so I'm gonna do my first look with this palette. I'm both excited and scared. I'm not 100% sure what I'm gonna do with this palette, but I think I'm going for more of the greens and purple, but I will start with the brown because I just think that'll be just a good transition shade, and then I think, like I said, I think I'm gonna lean green purple. We'll see. Who knows? I might dip into one of the pink shades. We just go with the flow. All right, let's go. So here is the finished look. On the lower lash line, I did put a oldie but goodie Chanel liner Cassis and the new mascara Anthracite from the holiday collection. So that is what you see on the lower lash line. I have just a regular black mascara at the top, but here's a closer look at the eye look. I think it came out really cool. It's very cool, grungy, great for the fall kind of a look. On the lips, I do also have the new liquid lipstick from the holiday collection, Nebulise, YSL blushes, some other blushes from outside. But this is the final look. Look number one. All right, so I hope you found that demo video helpful. So like I said, you could tell I'm loving this palette. I thought this was just a fun palette. I was just happy to get some true matte from Chanel, and they're pigmented because sometimes they use so much satins that sometimes Chanel palettes do not come through with pigmentation, but because these are true matte, these were pigmented. They're nice. Like I said, I get it. Like, I'm not necessarily comparing it exactly to like a Pat McGrath and Natasha Denona, but this does give a good level of pigmentation, which I really appreciate, and I love this fun color story. As you can see, I did make a lot of grungy kind of looking color stories, a lot of color stories that are great for fall. So a lot, you know, the greens and purples really dominated, but I did appreciate that they added this diagonal here with an orange, a pink, like a salmon and a pink, like, you know, so that, you know, so having the orange, salmon, pinks and the black, you know, just to kind of offset the green purple color story. Now, with that being said, as I was kind of mentioning before, it reminded me of a palette that I loved last year, and that was from Chanel, Divination. That was on one of my favorites lists from last year. I remember fall last year, I was so in love with this palette. but I realized I haven't used it since then. But I think it's just because it's so fall to me. And, you know, I get so many other palettes. But I was happy because it actually made me bring this out. And I started using this as well. They're not the same. But, I mean, one, obviously, we're comparing a 9-pan to a quad. But also, they're not repeat shades. But, you know, obviously, both have purples, both have greens. Then you have, like, this one has like a mustardy brown, and this one has orangey and a cool tone brown. Let me show you some swatch comparisons that I posted on Instagram, and we'll just kind of go through them really quickly. So in terms of the purple, all the way to the left, you're gonna see this purple. So this purple, this is like a satin. I don't know if I would call it metallic. I would say satin. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful shade. It is different from these purples because number one, these are straight up mattes. And then the other thing, it's a little bit deeper and it's a satin. So it's got a little bit of sheen to it where these are straight purple mattes. Actually, I think it'd be cool for me. I haven't tried yet to do like maybe an all purple look or purple predominant look and mix the mattes in this satin together, maybe like mattes in here and the purple here on the lid. I think that'd be fun. So they are complementary, but no dupes. For the green slide, what you're gonna see is the three to the left are all from this palette, and then the last one is the one from this palette. What I say is, in this palette you have 3 greens that are very different. I mean, number one, you have a green shimmer. This shimmer is a lot of fun. It's almost topper-like. It can stand on its own, but you know, even like to put it on top of another shadow, that's actually fun to do. So that's actually great. The other palette doesn't have any shimmer, so obviously that's a thing that's unique, and it's kind of like that like lime electric kind of green, but it's still soft enough that it's not scary. It's not. In terms of the other 2 greens, I like that we have like a pastel-y green and then a little bit more deeper green. You know, this color is kind of similar to this one. It's not the same, but I did try to like do a look using them both together. If you put them next to each other, if you try to blend them both in the transition, it'll be hard to distinguish the two. So then, even though they are different, those 2 are kind of similar, but I appreciate that this has more dimension in terms of the choice of green. So I do feel like that's an upgrade with this palette. So you want to just compare. So like this palette, which I think threw off a lot of us, this shade right here. So this shade is kind of like a mustardy brown. So I thought I would compare it to these 2 because I feel like it's almost kind of like in between of that. But it is definitely different. Like this one is a true orange, and then this brown is very cool tone, more like a grayish brown, where the other one is more, like I said, mustardy, more warmer. So totally different tones. But like I said, I appreciate the dimension that I like that we have some cool tone and warm tones in this palette. So I really appreciate that. And then what was totally unique from this palette to the other palette is the fact that it also comes with the salmon pink, this black, and then like I said, this one right here is not white. I don't know if you can pick up on that, but it's really like a pink. I think the lighting is kind of washing it out, and it's looking white here, but like when I apply it on my eyes, the pink really shows out. So what I would say is, number one, if you have this one, that doesn't mean you can't get this one. There are no dupes. I feel like this one is like, you can either consider it like an extension to this one, or maybe an upgrade to this one. But they're complementary, but totally different. So I don't feel bad that I have both. You know, if you have this one, you don't have to feel bad that you missed out on last year's. But if you got last year's, don't feel like, oh no, then you don't need this one. I mean, we don't need anything, but like it is still different enough. So I actually like it. I know this is a color shade that's not going to be for everybody. These are not color stories for everybody, but if you like doing fall tone color stories, like having a little bit more fun, grungy kind of looks, this is a great palette. It is obviously matte heavy, so yeah, you don't really have much shimmers, so it can be limited in that way. But if you're cool with that, I actually really like it, like I said. But if you really wanted a true shimmer palette, a holiday palette, then I would still say go ahead and get the other two. They actually look to be good quality. I think they actually are great. So this video is not to deter you from the other two. It's just this one just fit better to my specific collection. But yeah, that's it. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. And if you aren't already subscribed, consider subscribing to my channel. If you're not already following me on Instagram, I would definitely ask you to follow me there because that's where I'm more active. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day and I'll see you next time. Bye.